I have but one request. And that one request is made up of two parts. One is stop freaking lying to me. And two, stop freaking lying to yourself. Everybody's got an idea of what retirement means, but I think very few of us have actually sat down and actually put some pen to paper to figure out what it means to retire ourselves. And so we tell ourselves lies, and we tell the rest of the world lies that we may not even be realizing is happening. And a ship with no compass is useless. So stick around with us as we debate back and forth on what retirement means, how much money that truly means for you on a monthly basis, and what kind of asset classes you may want to get to your specific goals, not Grant's, not Daniel's, not Jim's that you see on Facebook. We'll see you on the other side.
Hey.
Very pleased to have Mr. Daniel Moore in the studio. What's up, man?
Not much, man. It's been a wonderful day. I had Sharper Process in today for a massive business coaching session, and it was all about retirement. I loved it.
Yeah, I think it's important to respect the true amount of work that goes into this kind of stuff up front, right? So it's like we have kind of segments of our career. And I think you and I both had this same segment, and I think a lot of people have the same segment, and I'm going to encourage that this segment needs to exist, okay? And that segment is, I'm brand new, and I just need to get some freaking stuff done, right?
A lot.
You can analysis paralysis yourself all day if you start on this process too early, can't you?
I think that it needs to be more than just get things done. You need to get the right things done, because I see plenty of people starting out getting things done. They're just not getting the right things done. They're not doing the revenue generating activities. And those are key to getting somewhere. If you don't have them, you're not getting them.
Yeah. I think that, I love that phrase. I've stolen that phrase from James Jenkins, who I don't know. He doesn't know if he stole it from somebody. He may have stolen it from somebody, but
I'll say I stole it from you.
Okay, well then it's the James Jenkins train goes. I love it. RGAs. It's a really good, quick and easy thing to pop into our head whenever we are focused on an activity or going through our days. Is we can spend way too much time on non-RGAs, on things that building out your Propelio system doesn't make you money next week. Making a phone call or driving for dollars, that might make you money next week.
So all of these activities are to essentially, when we are getting into this business, what do we all want? We all want the lifestyle that we see. We all want the income that we see others speaking on when it comes to real estate. And that's why we enter into this. But if we enter into this without a plan for the end in mind, we are just going to be spinning our wheels.
Yep.
So one of the things that we should always be looking at are 10-year goals, breaking them down to 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, quarterly, weekly. If you're not doing that, then you're not getting what? Traction.
And one of the reasons why I think it's so important to be talking about this right now is we're coming up on a quarter. And this is one of the reasons why I want to have these types of conversations right now, because quarterly goals are massive. Annual goals are massive. Anybody who's watched me for any period of time knows that I'm a huge fan of traction. That's the business coaching and everything that he's referring to. They're dropping big dollars to get that traction. Or I'm assuming you are. I don't know. I know that it's typically big dollars.
We're moving in heavy and hard on traction, because with traction is EOS, the employee or the entrepreneurial operating system. If you have never ran your own business, you definitely need to understand that there is a process to running a business outside of just getting out there and making money. You can make a ton of money just winging it, but at some point in time, if you want to scale, if you want to automate yourself out of it, you need an operating system in place that has been proven and tried and true.
Yeah.
On EOS, traction, solid thing, like Sharper Process is where we've been getting our coaching from. Definitely loving the movement we've been getting there. But with the Sharper Process, EOS, traction, however you want to look through that, it is the key piece of, if this is what I'm trying to accomplish this year, then I better damn well break it down into the action steps required to get me to the end of the year. Otherwise, the end of the year creeps up on me and I'm still not accomplishing what I intended to accomplish. And if I don't hold accountability processes, procedures, and set some level of automation there, it's just a hallucination.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the analogy that traction puts out there for this. And I think we've all hit this moment, right, where we say we were busy as crap this week or today or whatever, and we look back and what did I even freaking do, you know? As entrepreneurs, as typically visionaries, as people who want to get something done and are very active in that, we will build a beautiful ship, and it'll be polished. And you close the door to the what do they call it? The captain's box. Whatever. I don't know. The
captain's quarters.
The captain's quarters. You're like, oh man, look at that. Look at that clearance, man. That is some fine clearance. And look at this. I'm shining my poop decks clean. I just want to say poop. There's wind in the sails. Everything's
We've got a nice ship, but we've never set sail.
Yeah, well, no, we're sailing. We're moving along. We're going 18 knots. Is that good? We're moving along. And then you ask him, that's awesome, man. Where's your compass? And you go, crap. I forgot to put a compass in. And the problem is that everything in our direct vicinity looks great. But if you actually look at what's happening on the long term, you're going to end up thousands of miles off course, right? So we have to set our compass annually and quarterly. We have to know what we're planning for. So I want your interaction. We're live here. We want to talk to you guys. So I'm going to pose a question that I posed last week that sparked a lot of debate, and I want you to give an honest answer to this because at the end, we're going to come back and we're going to readdress what this really means. So here's the real, I want your real answer, not your I want to flex on people answer, not your I want to look good in front of other commenters. How much money do you need to be making on a monthly basis, passive? Why is passive in quotes?
Passive because there's no such thing as a true passive activity, in my opinion. In most people's opinions, every investment has some level of active investment, even if it's just monitoring it.
Yeah. There is no such thing as passive. There are only varying levels of passive. That's the truth of it. Okay, so how much passive income do you need to be making on a monthly basis to where you can roll over in bed, your alarm goes off one morning, and you say, nah, I'm good?
I think it needs to be somewhere around, you're talking about monthly or annually?
I'm talking about monthly.
Monthly, I'd need to be somewhere around the 6 to 7 million range.
Monthly?
I mean, why not go big on that?
I had a student tell me that actually. I was excited, I was interviewing because I interview for our personal mentor, like high-end thing, because I want people to have reasonable expectations. And I'm asking them, like, what are your goals? Well, I just feel like in the next 4 or 5 years, I should be able to donate $1 million a month to church.
That seems like a very doable thing if you're cartel.
And I had to tell him, I was like, look, and he actually blamed you for it because he said, I saw Daniel talk and Daniel said that his biggest issue was that he didn't set bigger goals earlier, so that's what I'm doing. I said, well, okay,
I'm glad I inspired somebody.
It's like, let's readdress that in 3 years because section 1 is just go out and do stuff, right? So how much money on a monthly basis passive do you need to be making to say, nah, I'm good. I'm not going to work anymore, right? I want to know that number. And I want you to also comment the number of how many years from today do you want that number to happen, okay? And I want you to be reasonable with yourself. I don't want you to, again, this is not a flex. This is not next year I'm going to be making $20,000 unless you're making $18,000 right now. Let's get some real answers out there, okay? That's the first part of this because too many people don't know the answer to that question.
I know mine.
What's yours?
My number whenever I sat down and did this formula was $2,500 in passive income, and I did it in 6 months. And that's what I needed to, now that, retire, like, am I like excited, like going out hitting the beaches at $2,500 a month in passive revenue? No, but I restructured my life in such a way that I was able to take $2,500 a month and pay all of my expenses, which left me in a state of quote unquote retirement where I was no longer dependent upon someone else's planned activities for my week to support my life. I had the opportunity to stay home, play PlayStation all day long, and no matter what I did, bills got paid.
Yeah.
And that's retirement.
And I think that is the biggest point, and I want you guys to keep commenting on this because we're going to address some of these numbers, and nothing's wrong here. And the point of what we're getting at here is your goals are going to be different. What I said in the intro is like, look, your goal is going to be different from Grant. Your goal is going to be different from Daniel. Your goal is going to be different from whoever you see on Facebook, right? Be confident in that. Understand what you want out of your life. Oftentimes we look so longingly on people like Jeff Bezos and Steve Jobs and Albert Einstein and
Albert Einstein. Never mind. I'm getting off on a sidetrack.
No, I think you're not.
Albert Einstein lived very moderately from what I
he
remember.
did.
If I remember right, he painted the outside of his house a rainbow just so he could remember which one was his house.
That's awesome.
He lived that far off of the deep end that he lived a very conservative lifestyle from what I remember.
That's amazing. I love that.
But what is, we've heard about all these people that are really insignificant to the world, like Bezos and all that. What do the Grant Kemps of this world look for to get retired? Is your number 2,500 or
my number's 25,000.
25,000.
So it's funny. It's actually a multiplier of the number that you gave. But it's funny because as last week we were talking about this and he starts slamming everything. I'm like 2,500. That's all you need. And I'm like, because 25,000 is my number, and that's why it's important to understand that different people have different numbers, and it's going to take different amounts of work to get there. So the reason I kind of make the equation between the Jobs and the Einsteins and Dr. Seuss, I'm handpicking my examples here because they're massively successful in their industry, right? They changed their industry for the better, but they were crap fathers, and they were crap husbands, and they were crap family men, okay? Their priority was solely the advancement of this industry that they were working in. Now, part of when you set your goal has to be an understanding of who are you, and there's more than one way to get paid. You can get paid with money, you can get paid with lifestyle, right? And that's what we're talking about here. Lifestyle. You get to play PlayStation all day, nobody tells you what to do, you live in a trailer on some land and you're happy.
That was actually a pretty chill life. It was at no point in time did I need to say, oh man, I need to go out and make some money. At no point in time did I have to say, you know what, it's getting late. I got to get up tomorrow morning. It was a very comfortable lifestyle. Now, $2,500 a month was not luxurious, but if you're not sitting there dreaming about Bentleys and Benzes and all of that, you can retire a lot faster than what you'd expect. And I got myself into a bad situation of craving lifestyle. And lifestyle comes, in my opinion, with handcuffs. If you are wanting the Bentleys, the Rolls, the mansions, the all of the things that you're seeing flashed in front of you, you can most definitely pursue that. And I advise you to pursue that because I don't ever want to impose my opinions upon someone else's dreams.
Right.
But if that is what you are looking for, you better well anticipate that you're going to give up a considerable amount of your life up front to obtain that. How much does your life mean to you versus how much do materialistic things mean to you? I would much rather focus my energy personally on obtaining more of my life back than obtaining more shiny objects. So for me, lifestyle was sold the ranch, sold the Tahoe, sold the Lexus, sold all the other toys that I had, downgraded all of my debt to essentially nothing more than insurance, food, and some basic amenities, and I bought a $1,200 mobile home. I was like, boom, retired. It's at what I was probably 27-ish at that age. It's at no point in time at 27 years old could anybody tell me you have to go get a job. It's I'm done.
Right.
I did what I needed to do.
Right. And so on the flip side of that, my number's 25,000, right? And my reasoning is that I'm willing to work my ass off now, right? It's the Dave Ramsey live now like nobody else so that you can live later like nobody else. I'm willing to put the long hours in. I'm willing to work my butt off right now. But that's right now, right? And going into this, my wife understood. We had some pretty serious sit-down conversations before deciding to go into business ownership, and some pretty serious understandings of I'm gonna work 19 plus hours for the next year. Right, it wasn't 19, but I averaged 14 to 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, and that's not hyperbole, for about 18 months to start my career off, right? That was to get a passive revenue. Gosh, what were we making at that point in time whenever I kind of pulled away from that? Maybe 15 a month, something like that, which was enough to pay for some staff that helped me get into a foundation that would allow me to grow to a larger point, right? And I'm still growing. I still have many working years in me. I think from just a human
Man, I
stand.
want to argue with you. I do. I just want to argue with you.
Well, so let me put my point out there, and then let's argue about it, right? And that's what we're going to get into in this next segment is talking about these differences of what we've decided to do, right? So I've got working years left. I don't care to be able to retire until I'm 40. I think being able to retire at 40 is a very reasonable goal. That is earlier than 99.9% of America will see. I think that it is my job to society to continue to do the highest capacity of work that I can do to build that society in this period of time before I just kind of laze out and do whatever. And at that point in time, I might, whatever, do charity or something like that. Who knows? I might just sit and watch TV. But I've got work in me. And I can add a lot of value to people's lives, right? I can add a lot of value through doing this education. I can add a lot of value by providing homes. I can add a lot of value by providing employment, that kind of stuff. So I can give back in that way. And then with $25,000 a month, that is enough for me to completely have enough money in the bank to absorb any kind of economic downturns, any kind of bumps and blips that may happen to our cash flow, because as much as we love passive, there's no such thing as passive. Everything is a variance of passive. And it gives me enough money to decide, hey, let's go live in Japan for a couple of months. Let's go live in wherever for a couple of months, right? We can have that kind of freedom. And then most importantly to me, my child will never have to worry about anything, right? I will be able to have such a retirement set up that his spoiled butt won't get any money till he's like 30 or 35, but he'll get some money when he's 30 or 35. So if he works hard enough to get through life at the beginning, I know that I can take care of him, his family, and possibly the generations that come past that through setting this up. So I am a guy that I wish I didn't, but I do like material things. I do drive a Lexus. I do have a nice house. You know what I mean? And I don't think that you should necessarily be ashamed of that. I think that you should claim what you want and stick behind it. And to me, I like having some luxurious things. I enjoy that. I don't have to have it. I didn't grow up with it. But I want to set myself up and my kids up to be able to have that as well.
Understood.
Right?
So
what we're getting at here, we're going to go to a break. I still want you guys to be chopping in there of what your dollar amount is that you want on a monthly basis. And it's funny because I think, so we've had 6 or 7 people chime in with numbers, but I think that a large reason, and this is one of the reasons why I don't bring this up early, that we don't have more people chiming in, is that more people haven't thought about it. I think that a lot of people just got put on the spot. And a lot of people just realized, I never really thought about it that way. Because what do people tell you? If, Daniel, you're new investor, Joe,
okay.
And I say, what do you want to do this year? What's your answer?
I want to do 70 deals.
Right.
I want to do 70 deals. I want to do 100 deals. I want to do 50 deals. If I'm new in the business, I might just say I want to do a deal.
Right.
And
I'm cool with that one.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cool with that one. Not super cool with I want to do 70 deals. I think that focusing on volume rather than dollar is a mistake.
Why would you put it that way? Because if I'm in the real estate investor community, the thing we always tout and we always run around is how many deals we did this year. Mm-hmm. And while that sounds impressive, what was your average transactional volume? I remember hearing one of the guys out of Collective Genius, third person story here. It's yeah, I did 1,200 transactions this year. Well, 1,200 transactions, what was your average volume per transaction? It was $700.
Yep.
It's well, that's not as impressive.
That's exactly my reasoning. So I think that by focusing on volume instead of dollar, you're leading yourself into some very dangerous traps, okay? So we're going to go into break. When we come back, I want to have more comments there of what you guys want on a monthly basis, and we're going to talk about those traps that you're setting for yourself without even realizing it. Traps on letting more experienced folks know that you don't really know what you're talking about by saying I want 70 deals, even though you sound really good by saying it. Traps by putting some handcuffs on yourself, and traps by what you're doing truly to your retirement. So stick around, and when we get back, we're going to talk about all the mistakes and traps that you're making by focusing on volume instead of dollar, and then we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that high-paying job that may be created and how your goals, though they're different, are totally valid. Stick around.
Propelio.com. What does Propelio offer? Lead generating websites, access to true MLS comps, off-market lead lists, and deal alerts. Get them all today at Propelio.com.
You want to buy more houses? Here's Dar and his wife after only 2 weeks of being my mentor student.
And here's Brady after paying attention to all our online videos and attending all the live Q&As. You want to buy more houses? 3 steps. Sign up at creativecashflow.com/memberships, watch all the videos, attend the live Q&As, and then send me a photo with you and your sweet, sweet new contracts. creativecashflow.com, helping you buy more houses for one low price of only
So one of the biggest things that we're discussing right now is your road path to retirement. And one of the things that I'm going to have to openly debate with everybody that's on air right now is wholesaling is not a retirement strategy. Wholesaling is an income producing strategy. And the second you break your leg, the second you're not at your job, the second you do not build a business around that strategy, your income reduces down to 0. So if you are out there and you are aspiring to enter into this business wholesaling, keep an eye on this video because this is important to you. Your steps into getting into retirement may start with wholesaling, but it's not going to end in wholesaling. So we're going to work on figuring out for you that are out there watching this, getting into this. I might be too far ahead of you right now to be talking about retirement, but you need to build this business with that thought process in mind. So how are you going to create the passive income that you need through wholesaling? Wholesaling is in itself a
job.
It's a job. Like if you
It's a
don't,
high-paying job.
it can be a very high-paying job. Like if you're out there right now and you're earning in the $50,000 to $100,000 range, $100,000 to $150,000 range, wholesaling, on average, I'm going to tell people is probably going to pull you in $75,000 to $150,000 a year for your first couple of years until you really understand it. And unless you really understand it and turn it into a business, you're probably not going to push it up to that 300 plus range. But it can be a very good paying job unless you turn it into a business. But anything you turn into a business is now a business. I can turn digging ditches into a business and make $300,000 a year digging ditches. So I don't want to throw the business aspect on top of wholesaling. But if you're out there wholesaling, where do you want to move to from there? Because what do I mean by it's a high-paying job? Where are we going here?
Because you go on vacation for a month, what happens to your income? It stops.
It's gone.
It's gone. You have to really nest egg. It's not an investment. It's a transactional money-making venture. So, to the point of what we talked about last week, guys, I've had a lot of folks who've done a minimum of 500 deals, and some of which are doing 300 a year, coming to me behind the scenes and saying, Grant, I need you to teach me how to do seller financing because our market is going to be shot very soon. Very soon, this is going to turn around. And what they recognize is even though they're doing 300 a year and they have a business that makes that money for them. And guys, some of the guys I can't even name for you because I literally had to sign a non-disclosure and meet them at a lawyer's office behind closed doors that were in not even the glass door one, the closed wood door one, because they could not afford, because everyone watching this knows who they are most likely. They could not afford for people to know that they're worried about what's happening in this shift right now, and that they're looking at doing what we're doing, because even at the business, it's transactional, and when those transactions are giving you an average of $700 a month, that's squat. Your job is at the mercy of the market.
So how am I as a wholesaler going to retire? And this is something that you and I have preached since day one up here, that I don't think anyone else is really resonating at any large volume, and that's because the sexy thing out there right now is wholesaling. So no one's really talking about the other aspects of this business. But if you're wholesaling, you're creating transactional bumps of income. Do that if you're getting your boots off the ground. But after you get those boots off the ground, you need to stockpile some of that cash to buy assets. Flipping paper is not assets.
And to that point, that stockpile cash thing, right? So I want to say, and maybe I'm exposing too much about myself here. No, I'm just playing. I have never taken home less than 60. That was my first year. I've never taken home more than 150. I've made a lot more than that in these years, but these guys that are buying the Lambos aren't buying the assets, right? You know what I mean? Like
and how many of the people buying Lambos are buying Lambos off of education sales versus real estate?
Right.
And I hate to throw that out there, but it's a
true.
reality that actually comes from a big point that needs to be understood.
Why do you think I'm in education? Where's my Lambo, guys? Give me my freaking Lambo. That's what. So here's my question, right? I ask you, how many deals a year do you want to do? And you play Joe investor. You play Joe, I'm in my first 2 years investor, right? What would really happen? So I say, what do you want? What are your goals for this year?
I want to do 100 deals.
How much money per deal do you need to make on that?
And this is where you end up hitting the problem, is because people are not looking at that aspect of the business. They're just hearing a number and they want that to sound great. But if you're truly looking at that, is your average deal $3,000?
Mm-hmm.
Well, $3,000 times 100 deals, great. I made all that, but then I back out my marketing costs. I back out all the costs associated with doing 100 deals. I might as well just went back to work for doing, my 9-to-5 job.
Right, but you got your bragging rights, right? Oh, I did 70 deals. So that's the problem. The trap that you're setting for yourself, and the trap that I saw get set on so many people that I feel really bad about for this past few years, is y'all saw people make a ton of money in 2015 and 16. Word got out that wholesaling is the way to go, and you've got to do 70 deals. And so people are doing 70 crap deals a year just to be able to say they're doing 70 deals a year.
And I think it's one of the most ignorant things that are out. It's ignorance, and I say that with pure confidence,
with love
because nothing matters in regard to transactional volume other than you've increased your transactional risk.
Right.
Every time you put your name on a piece of paper, you are putting risk with that paper. If I can structure and build deals where I am pulling down solid 6 figures, 7 figures per deal, how many deals do I really need to do? You come in, Mr. Newbie, and it's like, hey, I'm hitting 100 deals this year, and I'm just looking at you like, I'd much rather do 2.
Right.
I'd much rather do 2. Well, what are you planning on doing with your 100 deals? Well, I might make $3,000 to $7,000 a transaction. I'm looking to try and make $1.5 million per transaction. Mm-hmm. Which deal would you rather pull off? And if you're looking at the wrong key piece, which is what revenue are you generating, then you're putting yourself into the wrong position for retirement.
Right. Yeah, we've got to focus on and again, if I run into a wholesaler, a new guy, and they say I want 70 deals a month or a year, and I say, well, how much do you need to make transactionally on each one of those deals? And they're like, well, that's if I make $6,000 per deal, because I'm expecting, average right now is like $4,500 to $6,000 in marketing. So if I can really get like a $13,000 assignment and I'm pulling away 6, if I do 70, that meets my goals. Boom, that's a good answer.
It's a really
good answer.
But now I'm going to have to follow that up with, do you know these systems required to make that happen?
Right.
And there's a lot more to it than what people might anticipate.
So my argument is focus on the dollars and open your eyes to the other opportunities that are out there. One of my big kicks is not to hate on wholesaling. I love wholesaling. I think it's a great way to, I've wholesaled houses myself. I think it's a great thing to do. This is not an anti-wholesaling speech. What this is I need you to have a why behind your what. And I think that the reason that people get into wholesaling is oftentimes, I don't know where else to start. I don't have any capital to get into the business.
I want to get out of the rat race. I think that is the guaranteed reason, which brings us right back to the topic of retirement. Mm-hmm. They get into wholesaling because they want to retire. They want to get out of the rat race. They want to stop punching someone else's clock. Mm-hmm. But they get into that not realizing that you're going to stop punching someone else's clock to double punch yours. You're going to be working 2 times, and it's not going to create the retirement unless you take the assets the income that you're generating and reinvest that back into assets. One of the things that you were saying is you're looking for $25,000 a month in recurring passive revenue. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting here saying I can do this with $2,500. Yeah. Well, if I'm wholesaling, what I can guarantee you is that I can get out of that rat race 10 times faster than you ever will if my goal is $2,500 a month in passive revenue. Now, my lifestyle is nowhere going to be near as grand and as luxurious as yours at $25,000 a month in passive revenue. But what I can clearly state to you is that 6 months in, I'm going to be playing PlayStation if I want to, and you're still going to be doing that 16 to 17 hour daily grind.
Yep.
So why is it that our paths are so different? One of the key things that I see that our paths being different from is that I think the key differentiator between the two of us is the word rat race and retirement. I consider retirement for myself to be the opportunity to no longer punch someone else's clock. And that means that once my passive income exceeds my monthly expenses, I now have the right to say, I'm not going to work for you. Now, yours is 25 grand. I set it extremely low at 2,500 and accomplished that.
Right.
Wholesaling, if I go out there and I'm able to generate an extra $30,000 to $40,000 in a year of extra additional income that I can stockpile on the side, that 40 grand can be used to purchase assets. For me, in my instance, Lonnie deals. If you don't understand Lonnie deals, check out the mobile homes course in the Propelio Academy. It's free. Check out the mobile homes 3-part series we did on Propelio Facebook. We did a deal where I can take 40 grand and generate $2,500 a month in passive revenue through Lonnie deals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now retired.
And how many deals is that?
For me, that was like 13 of them.
13.
I do not, I am bad at numbers. I'm
Sure.
bad at data.
No,
you
it's
know
fine.
this.
But it's like a roundabout. I don't care about the exact, but it's like 13 to 15. It's not 120.
No, it was actually like 7. I had 13 of them at the end of a year, but the first 6, I pulled about 7 deals down, and the 7 of those combined ended up being about $2,500 a month in revenue.
Mm-hmm.
That $2,500 a month in revenue meant I got to kick back in my ugly mobile home with my badass TV and my
PlayStation.
Red Dead Redemption, and I could play Skyrim or whatever I wanted to all day long, and that left me with a lifestyle unlike materialistic.
Right.
But when it got to be Christmas time, I took off November, I took off December, I took off January, and I came back in February relaxed.
Yep. And I think that that's so important, right? Who in here, and I also want these comments because I'd like to know where you guys are at. Guys, just to take an aside for a second, please like this, share this, comment on this. We want your interactions. What we're trying to do is give you the reality of investing, the reality of business ownership. Well, I won't name anybody. What other people are trying to do on the videos is make you feel good about watching their videos and get super pumped up and feel good about your decisions to be a real estate investor. We want you to succeed. They want you to buy their $997 course, okay? So we have a huge drive for that. And part of that is these types of conversations. Dude's dropping tens of thousands of dollars, I'm assuming. We haven't talked about it, but I know these things go super, super expensive for the traction because he's building a business that's going to provide for other people's families as well as himself. And he's showing you all of that stuff that you've gotten. I've spent years, I've spent millions of dollars in partnerships learning this information, learning by trial by fire, figuring out how I failed in business and what needs to be changed. And we are giving this to you every Wednesday, usually at 11, today at 2 because there was some big expensive trainers in here today. But we decided to take that a step further, and creativecashflow.com paired up with Propelio.com, not just on Grant Teach Me Something, but go to Propelio.com/academy. We've got some incredible education out there, and you literally just need to put your email address in, and you will get education from some of the top dudes in the industry and top ladies in the industry showing you how you can achieve these types of things so that you can form your own goals and know how to achieve them. We are not here to be sexy. We are here to be real. We are here to let you know what's going on.
I want to make sure that we tie into that really good, because I could very easily go out there and start sporting the Lambo, the Ferrari, or whatever. I could go out there and create this persona for you that is not me. That's not who I am. That's not what I'm striving to be. My mindset shifted from materialistic things to life a couple of years ago, and through that I have shifted my needs. But what I am seeing a lot of people are attracted to is the Lambo. I want to be very clear. You can get that Lambo.
Totally.
That Lambo is very much there. I have met plenty of real estate investors that got their Lambo through real estate investing. Go out there and do that if you want to win. But I'm not going to sit up here and sport some sports car just to make you feel good about watching us here on TV. What I would like to impress upon you is that we had the ability to retire when most people are waiting till they're 60. And we're talking about how we were able to pull that off.
Right.
On my side, it was $2,500 a month. That $2,500 a month was not what I was trying to do for long-term growth, for long-term retirement. That was the get me out of somebody else's pocketbook so that way I could focus on my own. And then I didn't quit. I would take my times where I'd take a week or two and enjoy my life for a bit. And then I'd go back out there and I'd spend the next 3 months working 80-hour weeks, developing the next pot of income that I needed to get the next deal done so that way I could go from being $2,500 a month to $5,000. And then I moved forward and I kept leveling up, moving into the next transaction. I'm at a point right now that if I wanted to take my individual assets and start paying myself from them, I could pull off of one right around $12,000 a month in income, and off of the other one probably right around another $20,000 a month in income.
2 deals.
So that's $32,000 a month in income that I could be receiving right now. But I don't personally think that I could have ever done that had I not taken the initial steps to reduce my liabilities, to get out from underneath somebody else's 40-hour-a-week time clock, so that way I could start focusing on 40 hours a week of Daniel's time clock.
And I think that's one of the reasons why it's so important for you to go in there and check. You know, I asked you 2 questions at the beginning. I said, what do you want your monthly income to be, and how many years from now do you want that to happen? Because guess what? We might get you to that dollar amount way sooner than that. But like I said earlier, I have not taken the money that I could have taken out of the company because that's stupid. Why would I take that money out, in my opinion, and buy the Lambo? I live in a nice house. I've got nice vehicles. They're used. They're paid off. You know what I mean? Like you kind of set yourself up for that. So here's what I want to know from you guys, right? As we talk about the education, as we talk about putting things in front of you, what I want to know from you, and I want you to comment this, is your goal to get out from the rat race, or is your goal to retire? I think there's 2 different sections of people in here, right? You may need to get out of that rat race. You may have a job that you're trying to bust this out on the side and get that done. Or you may have already quit. You may have already figured out that this is the route you want to go, and you're trying to retire, okay? So comment those because I want to know where you're at. Part of why I went on that rant about the education that we're giving you is that I want you guys to understand that you're the hero here. You are what this is all about. We're sitting up here talking about how, oh, I could have retired, and oh, I make this money, and blah, blah, blah. And I know that it's douchey of me, and I'm like, oh, you know, the most I've taken is 150. And there's probably people out there that are like, holy crap, like I would love to be taking home one, you know what I mean? Like
that was me, man. Like I was pulling in 25,000 a year whenever I first got moving into this direction of business. I was making $9 an hour. Like that is how I got started in this business, $9 an hour. If you told me that I could make 50 grand a year, I would have been like, whoo, dude, like that was a lifestyle change for me.
For sure. And we've both been there. Neither one of us grew up with money. I quit a job where I was making 48 a year. My goal for my first year was just to not make that. You know what I mean? As long as I made the 48, I would have made it the W-2. I was fine. So I was an IT professional. I saw the opportunities that were in real estate, and I moved forward with that. The reason why I'm saying all of this is that we do relate to you. This is not us just being like, look at, wow, you can retire, blah, blah, blah. I don't want this to be unrelatable. I want you to understand that we are doing this because we have recognized through the vast amount of interactions that we have with all of the investors in the industry that this is a need that you have, that not enough people are focusing on the other side of the screen. And our job is to remove obstacles between you and success. And when we recognize an obstacle, we want to remove it. So part of needing to know, are you a rat race person or a retirement person, will help us to shape our future content so that we understand what it is that you, as a watcher of this wonderful show, need to hear most from us, because nothing matters more to us than helping you. That being said, I want you to help me back. This number says 6046. That is the Propelio YouTube subscribers. Can we get that to 6050, which is a totally reasonable ask for this next 20 minutes. So we got plenty of people in there. If you've not subscribed, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube. What am I, 80? And then hit the little bell to get the notifications. Let me know if you're a rat race or retirement. When we get back from the commercial break, what we're going to be doing is actually talking a little bit about the specific dollar amounts that you may have mentioned, the specific dollar amounts that we have mentioned, and a little bit to how can you do that. Let's bring it home. What are some real numbers? We tickled it earlier with the mobile home thing, with the road map to retirement. Let's do more than tickle it, whatever that is. We'll see it on the other side.
Propelio.com. What does Propelio offer? Lead generating websites, access to true MLS comps, off-market lead lists, and deal alerts. Get them all today at Propelio.com.
You want to buy more houses. Here's Dar and his wife after only 2 weeks of being my mentor student. And here's Brady after paying attention to all our online videos and attending all the live Q&As. You want to buy more houses? 3 steps. Sign up at creativecashflow.com/memberships, watch all the videos, attend the live Q&As, and then send me a photo with you and your sweet, sweet new contracts. creativecashflow.com, helping you buy more houses for one low price of only
All right, welcome back. Okay, so before we get into it, I do want to mention the meme around here was that my prices were going to go up for like 6 months. They did go up, but because I just freaking did it. I was going to let you guys know that it's happening this week, but I was like, you know what? It's better to just do it and then give you guys a discount code to thank you guys for being involved with Grant Teach Me Something. You know, it means so much to me that you guys listen, that you guys are tuning in is awesome. It's huge and encouraging to me that we dedicate so much time out of our weeks and days to make this happen for you. So if you are a GTMS watcher, Grant Teach Me Something watcher, you've been watching this and you want to join to get more interaction with me, more like one-on-one. I do a live Q&A every Monday night. We've got these modules online of exclusive information that is only on creativecashflow.com, as well as the stuff that you will find like on the Propelio Academy, that kind of thing. Go check it out, creativecashflow.com/memberships. If you sign up today and use the promo code thank you, all lowercase, the full words, thank you, I will give you 50% off of your membership. So go check that out. I'm only going to let that last for maybe another week. I was going to do 1 week. I've extended it to 2. So go check that out right now. I know you'll enjoy it. I love having you in the Q&A. And then further, none of this would be possible without Propelio.com. Tell me what's going on with Propelio.
So for those of y'all that have not had the opportunity yet to go check out Propelio.com, it is a resource for real estate investors to purchase more houses. Software systems, including lead lists nationwide, MLS comps nationwide. If you need a turnkey real estate lead generating website for your business and you have no tech experience, you can jump on Propelio.com, start your 7-day free trial, no credit card required, set up a website in a matter of minutes, get yourself away from those @Gmail, @Yahoo email accounts, get yourself branded and set up as a business, grab the leads that you need, get them skip traced, put it out your Driving for Dollars app. All of this combined into one software platform, 7-day free trial. Make sure to be checking this out. There's no joke behind it. You can go pull leads on it right now at absolutely no cost. No need to pull out a credit card. Get in there, see what's going on. If you like it and it's good for your business, which we all believe it is, buy it. It's $98 a month, no contracts. If you don't think it's right for your business at this time, at least know that it's there so that we can use it as a resource to promote it to other people and just keep the word spread that Propelio.com's out there, because I want to come back from this break right now and talk to Matt Smith. Matt Smith said something that resonates with a lot of the people that are going to be viewing this, and he said, I want to get out of the rat race, but I'd also love to have freedom and retire as well. We're all there. Nobody wants to just get out of the rat race to live on means, on barely getting by. I would like to lay out my path to retirement quickly, not getting into super deep detail, but what I was able to do, and the reason I was able to get out of the rat race so quickly, is I was willing to take the cut in lifestyle. I was willing to do whatever I had to do to reduce liabilities. Got rid of all vehicle payments. I got rid of the Lexus. I got rid of the Tahoe with $30,000 worth of stereo equipment in it. I got rid of the 3,600 square foot ranch home that I absolutely did not need for me and my wife. I got rid of all of this and reduced all of my debt down to nothing. I had zero debt. Now that might not be the same thing that everybody can do, but if you're sitting right now and you're telling me, you know what, I'm 37 years old, Daniel, and I really want to retire. I've got my beautiful house. It's my dream home. It's my 2,500 square foot house. It's what I've always wanted. And I've got $75,000 in equity in it, but the house payment on it's $2,500 a month. Well, that $2,500 a month house payment is going to have to be included into your retirement plan, and that's going to eat up a big chunk of your retirement plan up front. One of the things you said, and you quoted somebody that I don't really believe a whole lot in.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Kiyosaki's nemesis.
Yeah, live now like nobody else.
Yeah,
so you
live
can
now
later
like
nobody else.
So with
Dave
that
Ramsey.
quote, Dave Ramsey, with that quote being said, you might have to give up some of the things that you like. You might have to give up driving that Lexus. You might have to live and get away from that lifestyle. But if you eliminate that house payment, boom, you just knock $2,500 out of your retirement plan fast. If you eliminate that car payment, you knock another $500 off that retirement plan fast.
It's the same exact thing as making money. To save yourself money is the same exact thing as make yourself money.
So if you reduce all of your liabilities as much as possible, and then what I did to get out of that is I started reducing those liabilities. Let's say I did have $75,000 in my personal residence. I then took that $75,000 and reinvested it back into Lonnie deals. For those that are out there that are looking to generate cash flow, you can do cash flow deals with no money out of pocket doing sub 2. Definitely a path that you can follow down in this man's vein of knowledge. Another vein of knowledge that many people are not aware of is the ability to create cash generating notes on personal property also known as mobile homes. I would go in and secure mobile homes, purchase them at a steep discount, put a little bit of money into them, and then turn around and sell them on a note, creating revenue. That's how in 6 months, I was able to go in there and handle acquiring assets that other people were not directly targeting, with the understanding that each one of those that I got was almost $400 a month in cash flow with no long-term liabilities on my side.
And what is so by the way, it was actually about what I expected. We got about half and half, rat race and retirement, okay? So we're talking rat race now with Matt Smith, and I love, he just commented, I paid off a 98 Civic and it still works great. Dude, freaking A, man. Good job. Good for you, right? I love when people try to flex with their fancy car, because my biggest cash buyers pull up in 2000 Civics. You know what I mean? Like, my biggest cash buyer I can close in 3 hours, cash buyers, they have hail damage on their car, because why would they pay for that? You know what I mean? So I love that. Dang it, I forgot what I was going to say. I bit the crap out of my tongue.
You were talking about split 50-50, retirement and rat race. And then they were coming back and
dang it, I
boom,
forgot.
out of the
I
park.
lost it. Yeah, you said something that made me think of another point, but go on, I interrupted you.
Well, all that to be said, I grabbed these mobile homes for the retirement. Now, the retirement was getting out of the rat race. And if you're out there watching right now, one of the things that I'm going to have to truly ask you, and you're going to need to really answer for yourself, is, am I willing to do whatever it takes to retire?
Yeah.
And one of those things might be living today like others won't, so I can live tomorrow like others can't.
I remembered what I was going to say, so I'm going to interrupt you again.
Okay.
Crap, I forgot. No, I'm just kidding. So for the half of you that are doing the rat race thing, think about this. This is one way that I always like to pitch, because like my situation, my strategy, typically, so we do houses that are under $200,000, and we typically, our very average deal is $350, $400 a month in cash flow, passive, because it's actually owner financed, so it's what you think a rental would be, and we get about $25,000 worth of equity. Okay, now $350 a month is not a ton. That's what you were saying earlier, where it's like you do some wholesaling and you can set up enough income off of 1 month to last you the whole year, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas with me, I had to work for 2 years, night and day, to build to a point where we were able to relax. But think about it like this, you rat racers. If your boss walked into your office today and he said, hey man, you're doing a pretty good job, and I'm going to give you a $4,500 raise. Thanks for doing such a good job. Would you call your wife and be happy about that? Heck yeah. Next week, he walks in and says, you know, you've been doing a good job since last week. I'm going to give you another $4,500 raise. That's pretty sweet. The next month, you know what? We really like what you've been doing this month. We're going to give you another $4,500 raise. $400 a month is a $4,500 raise. So don't get wrapped up in the $350 a month, the $450 a month. Think about it like, hey, if my boss gave me a $4,500 raise every week, I would be in a damn good job. And that's 4 deals a month, which is a very average amount of deals to be doing in a transactional thing like that, or a very average amount of deals to be doing. And like when we're about to go into this dip of the market that everybody needs to be getting prepared for with the seller financing, I was doing 7 to 15 deals a month in this last downturn, right? At $350 a month and $25,000 worth of equity, right? So that's what I was talking about. When you say 400, don't just think 400. Think about what that annual implication is.
I made that mistake when I got started. I was like, $400 a month in cash flow or $40,000 check. $400 a month in cash flow or $40,000 check. That $40,000 check sounds sexy, and I would definitely agree that there's times where you need both. But one of the biggest mistakes that I've made, and I've said on this camera more than once, is up front I ignored cash flow completely. Mm-hmm. And it's the cash flow that carries you through the downturns that really matters. The cash flow is what keeps you alive whenever you don't knock out your wholesale deal this month. That cash flow is what holds you alive whenever that rehab doesn't sell when you think it's going to sell.
Amen, brother.
That cash flow is very important to you. So one of the things with wholesaling, while I do not want to debate some of the advanced wholesaling strategies that can create cash flow, wholesaling is a transactional income that you're gonna sit there and gain income. You're gonna gain waves of income from. So make sure that you're building that cash flow so that way you can retire. Now, if we're looking at that, how are we gonna get there?
I'm glad you went there, because that's exactly where I wanted to go. So we've got people commenting from anywhere from $3 to, one person said $30,000, but most people are $3,000 to $10,000. Okay, I mentioned this last week. I ask all of my students this question because I think it's very valuable, and I need you to start thinking about this right at the beginning. If we're going to do education together, I need you to have your compass set right at the beginning, or else I'm not going to be able to help you. The average is by far, I want $10,000 a month, and I want it to be done in 10 years. I think that is an extremely reasonable goal. I think that $10,000 a month is more than enough for enjoyment. It used to be, so they've actually done psychological studies on this, of what is that dollar amount that, what's the word I'm looking for? Like where you get to a certain point and it no longer, like, the effort being put into it is no longer giving
the point of diminishing returns.
There you go. That's it. So what is the point of diminishing returns for income? Here, several years ago, what was it, Tommy? It was like 60,000? Yeah. 60,000 bucks a year was kind of that point of diminishing returns, that people's happiness was not affected dramatically by getting more than $60,000 a year. That has gone up, and I can't remember what it is right now, but it's closer to 80.
Yeah, it's like 80-ish.
80-ish? Okay. So the point being here, 10,000 bucks a month is going to put you in that, everybody talks about the top 1%. You're going to be in the top 0.5% at 10,000 bucks a month. And 10 years is more than enough time to do that. The short of the story is, if you go my route, if you go the owner financed route, you set up the passive income through the $350 a month on a per asset and $25,000 a year in equity, it's going to take you about 50 deals to get there. By the way, I want you to mix rentals in. I want to start your portfolio off with owner financing. I want you to have about 10 or 12 rentals by the end of this, because in 30 years, all these owner financing deals are going to be gone. And you need to have some stuff that's going to last more than 30 years. So that's, I poo-poo on rentals a lot, but they have their place. I like them. They're not what people think they are.
You don't like them.
You're right. I do hate them, but I do recognize that they have a place in our portfolio. So that's kind of what it is. You need 50 deals to do that. Now, the practicality of that is, hey, that's 10,000 bucks a month, but then you're kind of self-managing, right? And you can send that to a servicer, which I highly recommend you do, but then you've got to manage the managers. My kind of position on that is, I would prefer to have employees that kind of set that business up for a long-term growth, that I can maybe give them equity stock in what they do to grow the company past what I need, as long as they're keeping my company in order and keeping my income coming without me ever having to pick up the phone, kind of thing. To do that, you're looking more like 65, 70 deals.
Okay.
Period. Done. Not a year. Period. And if you do that over 10 years, that calculates out to be a deal a quarter.
That
you
doesn't
need
sound possible, man.
a deal a quarter to be able to make $10,000 a month in 10 years.
And then, meaning in 90 days, I need to do a deal.
I need you to do one deal every 90 days.
That sounds like too much to ask for me to
For
retire,
the next
man.
5 years, I need you to do that one deal every 90 days. And then
That's simple, man. Like one deal, like you were doing at whenever I met up with you to coach me into the creative cash flow side of things, you were doing on transactions 10 to 20 deals a month. I remember your team was essentially you, Horn, and Walker, and the three of y'all were pulling down 10 to 20 deals a month across
and I
the
had
team.
two admin. I had Fabiola and Jessica in admin, right?
So the back office, that is a massive volume. And that's why you caught my attention, was the amount of deals that you were doing whenever I was not doing anywhere near that volume of deals. And the deals that I was doing were transactional based. I was doing flips, rehabs, and I wasn't creating any cash flow. You had something that I didn't have, and that was cash flow, and you were doing a large volume with it. And what you're telling me is that in a downturning market, you were able to do 10, 15, 20 of those a month. And all we're doing is telling these people, if they're looking to retire in 10 years with $10,000 a month in passive income, they can do one a quarter.
Yep.
That sounds to me like you could do that on the weekends with your full-time job.
Yep. You absolutely can. And that's one of the things that I want to encourage. So this is my job here, is to reset people's brains. My job here is to remove obstacles. We've been so brainwashed that from the people who want $997. By the way, my course isn't $997. It's $1297. But we've been so brainwashed by people who just want you to pay for their course and feel good about that purchase rather than actually succeed with anything, that we focus on the wrong things, right? And to even further that point, Scott largely, and don't take this as a negative to him, because I Big L loves Scott Horn. Big L love. I would not be where I am today without him. He provided the knowledge and the money. We provided the time, right? Every deal takes time, money, and knowledge. I think you did that on Monday too.
I did.
Scott was largely a passive partner, right? He really didn't do much. He would answer our questions and he would provide the money. And then even on that, I was super busy building Texas Pride Lending. So I was sharing my time between the two. Ronnie Walker was really heading up most of the operations there. So when we're talking about a small team can do big things, it's even smaller than what we're talking about here.
I remember
so
those
I
times.
encourage you guys, one deal a quarter for the next 5 years, then you do one deal a quarter for the last 5 with an extra 2 in the year someplace. That's how you get there. That's your roadmap to retirement, $10,000 through my methods. Now, let's talk about other ways.
I am not a 10-year kind of guy. I am much more of like a 6-month to a year guy. I want to get moving and moving fast. What I am going to say is not going to necessarily be the path that everyone's taking, but it's the path that I took.
Right.
I went down, reduced my liabilities to nothing, acquired mobile homes as asset. Through those mobile homes notes that I generated, that gave me the ability to make decisions based upon how much money I made per deal versus how many deals I am going to do. One of the things that we have stressed so much in this show and other shows is deal volumes doesn't mean a damn thing.
Right.
From there, I was then able to focus on revenue generating activity, bigger flips, start knocking down better deals where I'm pulling off $500, $400, $200,000 per transaction that I'm making in revenue. As I started moving through that, it gave me the peace of mind by getting out of the rat race. I'm out of the rat race. I don't have to worry about this month's rent anymore. I was then able to analyze my deals. I was able to spend time looking for bigger, better deals, adding zeros. The first deal that I did that knocked over a really solid 6-figure deal was $318,000 on one transaction. That $318,000 on one transaction is more than most 90+% of wholesalers, in my opinion, are going to make in their first year, second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year out. $300,000 plus a year is a solid year for a wholesaler. I did that in one deal. Now, I had to ask myself once I did that, is that repeatable? Is that something that I can do repeatedly? Well, what I found through doing that transaction is the reason I was able to make so much money on that transaction is I started fishing in a different pond. I stopped going after $100,000 houses. The most money I can make on a $100,000 house might be $100,000. Yeah. But that's going to be typically spread out across time. I wanted big chunks of cash and fast. So if I know that I can't make $100,000 on a $100,000 house, can I make $100,000 on a $500,000 house? Possible, not necessarily probable right now, not at volume.
Right.
So what happens if I start playing in asset classes that play in the millions? Well, if I'm playing in a $1 million asset, I better make $100,000 off of it. I better make $100,000 off of it. So the next piece is, you know, if I start messing around with $1, $2, $3, $5 million transactions, making $500,000, $1 million, $2 million per transaction was very doable. So I pushed myself out of the comfort zone. I stopped telling myself, you know what, you're a single family investor. You should be working in that median price range of $180,000 to $250,000, which is your safe area, which has great advice for you. And I'm not going to put you down for doing that. But if I roll through and I put some different thought processes together and I start attacking asset classes that end with M's instead of K's, I start creating M's instead of K's. So I knocked down the first one, knocked down the second one. The second one created a couple million in equity, plus 24 to 26,000 currently in passive revenue, triple nets. Jeremiah was talking about triple net commercial properties. That's where I got in. I got into industrial office complex. Through doing that, the passive revenue on that asset, $24,000 a month, and I'm not really a landlord. I just make sure that the checks come in. So you do not have to do large amounts of volume. You just have to have the right plan that you not only can execute on, but the thing that Grant focuses on saying so much is don't worry about what you can do what you will do.
Right.
And if single family homes is your niche, drill in hard and go retire. You can definitely do it. For me, I don't want to deal with the transactional risks of 60 people that are all looking to me as their landlord/bank. I'd much rather move into an asset class where I can own one asset and cash flow a similar amount and do it in a very quick time frame that allows me to live a lifestyle that I want. Lifestyle for me isn't always flashy Lambos. Lifestyles for me is going home, giving my daughter a hug. Hi, Tyler. Glad to see you out there,
I was
princess.
about to say, we got the most important thing here. Tyler needs a wave.
That is my why. Like, am I going to sacrifice my ability to sit down with my daughters, Tyla, Zyla, love you both, my wife, Miranda? Is that worth a Lambo to me?
Right.
Like, could I go out there and work harder and supplement and get a Lambo? Most definitely. But what really matters at the end of time, whenever I'm dying at whatever age I'm dying at, and am I going to be laying there on the concrete when I hit a wall in my motorcycle saying, I wish I had another trip in my Lambo?
Yep.
The answer is going to be, I wish I got to hug my daughter one more time.
Yep.
I wish I got to say goodbye to my daughters.
So that's why it's so important to really set your compass. My compass, and I've said this before, and I've done some episodes too. If you struggle with entrepreneurial depression, that kind of leads into what I'm saying here, but I've done a couple episodes on that. Look at the Grant Teach Me Something playlist on YouTube. But you have to know what you're about. If I miss a line, I have to, personally, has to be God, family, everything else. If my wife says, Grant, I need you home because this business is taking too much from you, I'm done. You're not going to see me on camera again. Over. Yes, I am not done here. I could make millions of dollars more here. She says she needs me home. Boom, that's it, right? Priorities. You got to know, is it because you want to hug Tyla, or is it because you want to have another Lambo?
And that is where I feel people will regret the path they follow if they do not recognize the importance of that up front. Because if you're chasing materialistic things will own you. People see the materialistic things as a source of excitement, happiness. Well, you get that Lambo gets old just like everything else after a year. You're going to want another one. You're going to want this. You're going to want that. And really, ultimately, for me, and I cannot speak for everyone else, the thing that mattered the most to me is being able to come home to my daughters and feel like, you know what? They are the most important thing in my life. I'm not going to exchange my life for material. I'm going to exchange my life for more time with my daughters.
And to Jermaine's point, got no kids or a wife, gonna need that Lamborghini to wave to for the time being.
I feel you on that
and
one.
That's the point. That's the point we're trying to make, is everybody's situation is unique and you need to be confident in your own situation and not necessarily look at what everybody else is doing, right? Now, we don't have time for this, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna fight you. Because I would rather have a borrower go bad and have it be 1/75th of my income.
Okay.
Than a borrower go bad and I'm losing $25,000 a month plus my debt service.
Okay, so I do not have a borrower. I have a commercial asset with multiple doors. Those doors are all managed underneath one person, and those doors are all going to be owned. I don't want to say this on air, and I'm about to, and I don't really want to.
Don't say it. He was going to make a really racist comment, is what he was
I
gonna
absolutely was not. It's free and clear.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm obviously going to use asset protection to secure the asset and make sure that I encumber it in certain ways to make sure that it is not a target for predators. But that asset, the way the debt was structured up front, in 5 years, it's paid off free and clear. I'm telling you right now, $24,000 a month in revenue. After the end of the 5 years, the note's paid off. That bumps up to about $34,000, $35,000 a month in revenue.
Totally.
At what point in time, like if that asset goes 100% vacant, yeah, I'm in trouble. But at some point in time, if the economy turns, since I have structured the debt in a way that I feel comfortable holding that asset and not really being over leveraged, I can very easily say, hey guys, I all understand. Y'all are in a service industry. Y'all are all providing service to this community. This community has taken a hit in the economy. Your business is not doing so well. My business shouldn't be doing as well either. I will work with you. Let's renegotiate your leases, put you back under a lease that you can comfortably handle with the anticipation that I'm going to monitor your books and your income to verify that you, sir, are telling me the truth. And if your business is going down, I'll renegotiate your lease for you. So on that side, that does not scare me. Whenever I go and I look at it like that, I think what scares me the most about that deal is the zero. The zero is what scares me. And if I can get over the fact that that zero scares me, it will allow me to scale faster because I'm no longer chasing, and this is my dig back. I'm not chasing $25,000 pops. And I know that was your equity capture up front. You've got your interest yield over the term of the note. I get all of that. But I could take that difficult year and simplify it into analyzing 25, 30, 40, 45, 100 transactions and grab the exact same wealth in 1 year that someone else could take 10 years to obtain.
So let's talk risk to reward then, right?
Okay.
So my job is to fight you right now.
Okay.
So I'm going to fight you. So I am really good at single family homes under $250,000.
Mhm.
And I've got systems set up for that, right?
Right.
So I don't invest in single family homes that are $500,000, and I also don't invest in entirely different asset classes.
Right.
Because there is a chance that I'm really good at this. Have you ever heard of the Peter Principle? Do you know what that is?
No.
The Peter Principle is why so many of you rat racers have a manager that sucks. What happens is people keep getting promoted until their point of failure. Okay?
Right.
Because the boss sees, oh, this person's really good, we're going to promote him. Oh, they're really good, they're going to promote him, right?
Okay.
It's the Michael Scott principle.
Okay.
Michael Scott from The Office was a phenomenal salesperson in the show, could kill it on sales, was a terrible manager. But he got promoted into that, and then they're never going to fire him because, well, look what he's done for the company, right?
Okay.
So, are you setting yourself up for your own Peter Principle when you find something that works and then you say, I'm not dreaming big enough, I'm going to trash this thing that has provided for my family and created wealth generation for me to stop feeding this baby and hope that by feeding this baby, I'll do even more. And that's the risk to reward.
Man, this being a fight, man, you're Mike Tyson in me right now, man, but I'm going to have to Holyfield you. Because like what I hear you saying is like, okay, I do single family homes, so jumping asset classes means that I'm learning something completely new, something completely different, something that I'm not used to. I could understand if you're saying like, I'm doing single family homes, I want to go start up an e-commerce business, two totally different veins of two totally different worlds. That's like me telling a drummer that you can't play the toms because you don't do percussions. Like if you understand how to play the drums, I can hand you a pair of toms and you're going to be able to just go to town on them. You understand that. There's going to be a little bit of a difference. You're going to have to learn a little bit more about it. But once you get over that short learning period, the systems are the same. The way you structure your debt, the way you get creative on your financing, the way you manage your tenants. In fact, the tenants get easier, I believe, once you get into commercial assets because the laws are much more in your favor.
Triple net,
so
very nice too.
So whenever I go at it like this, people limit themselves from where they are comfortable. They get hit with fear, and if they do not use knowledge to overcome that fear, they trap themselves in something that is performing well for them, but nowhere near as well as something could be performing for them if they just took the time to accept that maybe there's an opportunity to do more faster, because anybody that I've seen do single family homes and crushed it. But they crushed it over an extended period of time. I've seen people that jumped into commercial, and when they jumped into commercial, their hockey stick, their net worth, instead of their net worth doing this over time and just going up, their net worth did this, and then once they kind of start figuring it out, boom, 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 beaches. I started seeing other
beaches.
Boom, beaches. That's what I wanted to do, man. I wanted to do some boom beaches.
So, okay. So, shun the single family. Go to the commercial, like, warehousey district kind of thing. Okay? So, because you were not afraid to say, this was my comfort zone and I'm going to break past that to get another zero, why aren't you building Class A apartment units in downtown areas?
Right now, opportunity costs. So what I have learned through my ADD is that I can definitely quickly see opportunity everywhere. And if I do not rein my focus in and pick one thing and go kill it, then that is where I need to win.
That sounds a lot like an argument I may have just made.
Where I'm going to retort that is where I come through is I see Propelio being far more than just revenue generating activity for me. I am passionate about this. I'm not passionate about money anymore. I have achieved enough in life that I am at a point that if everything hit the fan, I could back off, my debt would get cleared, I could clearly pay my people back, and I'm going to retire the rest of my life without worrying again. Every bit of why I'm up here is to see people like y'all that are watching right now that lived in my shoes 10 years ago, 20 years ago. I want to pay it forward and see y'all win too, because things that have allowed me to grow in this world are things that y'all are not traditionally accustomed to seeing, and I want to expose that to you. So this is a passion project for me more so than an absolute necessity. Yes, this company absolutely has to make money. That's why there's Propelio.com out there. That's why I need to see y'all go out there, register and sign up and take a free trial of that product. But I am passionate about that. Developing Class A apartment buildings, just not passionate about it. I've already secured what I need to secure.
So those are all the same exact arguments that I would use to stay in a single family asset.
But
right?
I wasn't paying attention to you. I think we've made it to the end.
We have. And so that's the point I want to make, right? The point I'm getting at is that at some point in time, you have to draw your personal line and understand where your risk to reward factor is for your goals, for your retirement. And I hope that y'all have enjoyed seeing a couple of different thought processes that lend to why we might be thinking of things the way that we're thinking of. And I hope that you can feel more confident in saying, yeah, I'm going to do 5 deals this year, and not feel like you have to say you're going to do 70 and then get overwhelmed by the forest there, right? Daniel made a very good point. And again, we give and give and give and give. Neither one of us have to stay in the industry, but we enjoy being in the industry, and both of us do want more and have the ability. Like I said, I have many working years left, and it's my job to society to give that in. But we do have an ask, and that is that you check out Propelio.com. None of this happens without Propelio.com having such a drive for making sure that you guys are getting a good education put in front of you, not just a good education, but a world-class education put right in front of your eyes so that you can access it. And guys, if you're not going to be a hobbyist and you're going to take this seriously, you need a tool like Propelio. And I love Dora, says, she's shooting for retirement. My husband and I are older parents with a teen. We're assuring a comfortable senior lifestyle so our son does not have to worry about providing medical senior living care, that is amazing. Long-term care can bankrupt seniors. Very true. Younger adults don't think about this in reality. In my opinion. And I love that you said that. And so, again, it's folks like that. We've got a lot of you out there. I know it's easy to look around the Propelio audience and see a bunch of millennials looking around. One of the things that I've learned more and more is there's a lot of Doras watching. There's a lot of folks out there that y'all are doing well at your IT job or at your engineering job or whatever that might be. You're doing well. You've got an IRA, you've got a 401k, but you're looking for more, right? And that's what we're providing to you here is we are that advanced level. Similarly, creativecashflow.com, it is a charged education. And I am expensive if you get into the mentorship levels. That is true.
You should not be shy of paying for quality education. I have spent plenty of it. Just do your due diligence. You've seen this man speaking. He obviously knows what he's talking about. I will gladly vouch. I've watched you knock down hundreds of deals. I've watched you close millions in transactions. I mentored underneath you. Otherwise, I would not be standing here next to you talking to you. I paid far more than you'll ever pay for what Grant Kemp is charging for his time. I personally believe in you. Therefore, I am completely fine with you using this platform.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And that's, by the way, again, where our relationship started, was him being the transactional wholesaler that was killing it and saying, hey, dude, I need to see what's going on with this cash flow stuff. That's pretty sweet. So again, it is one of those kinds of things where not everybody gets to go to Harvard. I'm expensive, right? But if you're taking this seriously, there's levels of that, right? And if you are going to get into this business, you're going to pay for your education, either through losing money on deals or for paying somebody to help you not lose money on deals. So it does take a little bit of give to get some get. One of the things that I would recommend you doing is signing up for Propelio and checking out creativecashflow.com and putting these tools together so that you can go out there and crush it for your goals and your retirement and get what you want and be confident in that. Is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
I think you did a far better job than I ever could have, which is typical.
Shut up. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us this week. We will see you next week on Wednesday at 11 a.m. We love talking to you guys. See you later.
Propelio TV is sponsored by Noble Mortgage and Investments, Batch Skip Tracing, Think Multifamily, CreativeCashflow.com, and Life and Air.
Want to keep up with the latest Propelio TV daily? Be sure to subscribe and click that bell.